Hey everyone, it's Jess Ideas, and I want to say Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that celebrates it, and even if you don't celebrate it, well, thank you to you anyway for being a continued viewer, supporter, or just generous friend. I know I've gone through a lot in the past year or so, a lot of changes to myself and what I'm doing, and kind of the direction of my future as well as this channel, so I want to extend a warm thanks to everyone who was a part of that process and still is, especially to my YouTube viewers and subscribers. I know I've become very bad about taking care of my channel. I post maybe once every 2 months, which is awful. I've also not kept many of you in the loop as to what is going on. Except for those who follow my Instagram, I guess you see more snippets of my life. And those that know me in real life, like, see my Facebook updates and whatnot. But in general, I've been very much, like, kept to myself because this has been a very interesting, kind of turbulent part of my life that I'm just trying to figure out. But I think it's worth it. I think the transition from adolescence to adulthood is when a person experiences the most change, and these changes are good for you. Like, it makes you a more mature person, and it makes you realize that the real world isn't going to wait for you. Like, you have to get things done for yourself if you care about them. This video is sort of a general update on what I've been doing, how college has been, and the future of this channel, while also kind of extending a thanks to all my viewers. And it's also just more personal. I don't like just releasing product reviews because it feels like I'm just giving you guys an advertisement and not talking to my audience as someone who once was a very active YouTube personality. As for how I've been, I'm a current sophomore at Bryn Mawr College. So sophomore year has been very different than my first year at college. First year, I think I was just trying to transition, get settled, and kind of find people who would accept me. And that was when I was feeling most vulnerable because I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't know, like, who I could trust and where I could look for help. So I was just kind of all over the place, and I feel like for a lot of people, like, first year of college is one of the most difficult years. Sophomore year is also difficult, but difficult for different reasons. Even your friends and peers are starting to diverge into what they're actually really interested in, what they want to pursue a career in, what their academic track is. Most of them have probably decided what their major is, and if you're not one of those people, then you kind of feel isolated in the midst of, like, everything that's going on. Bryn Mawr was giving me a hard time in terms of, like, financially and kind of academically. Not that I was doing poorly in classes, but that it was more like I didn't feel like I had enough agency to do what I wanted at the college and out of my undergraduate degree. Basically what happened was they suddenly told me that I owed the college full tuition while I was still in China doing my internship, and I felt very helpless about that, and it turns out they had lost most of my documentation, so I had to resend everything when school was still in session, and I wanted to worry about sophomore year, not my financial aid package that I expected to be provided. I had to send in everything. I had to, like, go back and forth with the office, like, several times, and finally, like, they released my package, and it was a little lower than my previous years, and they justified this by saying that, oh, because your parents moved into a cheaper house and sold the old one, the difference is greater, therefore you have more money available to pay for your tuition. Which is very, like, it makes sense objectively, but it also is just very, like, it's very disappointing to see a college, like a private college that has a lot of money, like, take advantage of a family that's already low income and is clearly moving into this cheaper house for a reason. Like, those extra funds make a difference in their lives. Those extra funds are not there to pay a more, like, higher price for tuition. So I was just very disappointed in that, just because I had done an appeal last year and was rejected, and I wasn't planning on my tuition price to go up. Like, I was in a position where I couldn't do anything because the year had already started. I was already on campus. I'm already a sophomore. Transfer applications were due last year. Like, there was nothing I could do. And I talked to my parents a lot about it, and they came to consensus that I should just stay despite the larger tuition price and more loans having to be taken out, because they didn't want to disrupt, like, the flow of my undergraduate career by making me transfer for my junior year. So I'm staying, but I definitely have become a lot more aware of the financial situation. And because of that, I feel myself getting more competitive when applying to things like scholarships, summer or internship funding, and just trying to utilize all the resources on campus, because I really want to get my money's worth as, like, a low-income student that feels almost targeted by this entire financial aid process. Sorry about that. I just came back from a family dinner for Thanksgiving. But yeah, so a lot of different financial things happened, and I don't know, it was just very, like, saddening and disappointing that during my undergraduate career I was focusing more on how much my degree would cost rather than, like, focusing on getting the degree itself. If any of you want to know more about the situation or want, like, a more in-depth video or just have questions, feel free to ask, like, either privately or down in the comments. Like, I'd be happy to answer them. About my degree, so I went through a lot of stress in the beginning of the year because my schedule was never completely finalized until the day of classes, and it's just a lot trying to plan out everything. So my 360 course cluster was canceled, even though I worked very hard to apply for it during my freshman year. I got into it and I was ready to take it for my sophomore year semester, like first semester, but in August, like 3 weeks before classes began, I received an email saying that the cluster was canceled and that these classes would just be normal classes now. And I was pretty sad because I had planned to be an East Asian Studies major, possibly, and that course cluster was for the East Asian Studies department, and I was very excited about taking it, but then I suddenly found out that the program was canceled and it was just being offered as, like, a regular thing, and that my favorite professor from the department had suddenly left. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing, but then it made me stop and think, like, oh, is this actually what I want to major in? Which is, like, a huge question, and it's, like, one that you should always ask yourself. So I thought about it, and I was like, okay, I have to declare by sophomore year spring term. I still have 1 semester to explore. It's actually pretty late, like, most of my peers have already declared their major by now. I stumbled upon Introduction to Linguistics, and I actually really enjoyed it. Like, I found out that, like, my sense of humor is actually very linguistically based because I love, like, wordplay, and I love, like, syntactical things where, like, you say one thing but you actually mean another. Like, I realized my sense of humor is heavily based in, like, linguistic structure, so it was very nice to find that out, and that I was so interested in the subject in the class. Probably declaring myself as a linguistics major, which is cool because it's the only tri-consortium major, meaning it's between Bryn Mawr, Haverford, and Swarthmore. So more commuting for me, not fun, but I hope it's worth it. Yeah, because it's very applicable to many fields as well, which is good for someone who doesn't like choosing one thing and just sticking with that one thing. I think, like, using my planner this year has really gotten me through everything. I've written, like, pretty much everything down, like, down to every hour, just because, like, there's some days that feel so fast and busy that I don't even remember what I have to do, like, in the next 30 minutes. So I use it to plan out my schedule for next semester, and just, like, writing day-to-day tasks that need to be accomplished. Just general planning and to-do listing. So this has been a lifesaver. I also figured out that 4 on-campus jobs is very excessive. It's definitely difficult even if the total number of hours per week is not high, because your mind is constantly switching from task to task, and you have to like remember things to do for different jobs, like alongside your schoolwork. So I would say, like, I think I would rather do 1 job for 15 hours a week than do 4 jobs for 10 hours a week, just because the switching is more tiring than just like continuously doing tedious, like consistent work. Like, it's very difficult to constantly switch what your responsibilities are and who you're talking to, level of professionalism, etc. Very tiring. But yeah, at least now I know that that's my limit and that I shouldn't overwork myself, or my sleep schedule and health is just gonna suffer. Like, I got everything done this semester, but it's at the expense of my own well-being. I realized that a lot of my social life on campus does revolve around the clubs that I'm in. I'm still very heavily involved with the Asian Students Association as the PR person. I love like finding ways to represent the club well and meet like people from other affinity groups just to collaborate or do like joint events on, or invite them to our culture show. It's very fun. And for Choom Boom, which is the Bi Consortium K-pop dance club, we recently put on a performance, and I just love preparing for a performance. I love the feeling when the audience is cheering and when like there's so much energy and adrenaline on stage, and there's that like rush to do well at practice and to just get it right. That feeling of teamwork and motivation, like unbeatable. I'm addicted to performing. Down to the final topic, the future of this channel. I think some of you might have seen it, but I posted, I think like a couple of weeks ago on my Instagram about how I felt like I was becoming more and more of a sellout, because I was receiving a lot more sponsored items, and because of that, like, a lot of my social media, like, output has been, like, advertising. Like, it just worries me because, yes, I have been doing sponsors since the very beginning of my channel. I don't want it to become the main thing. It kills me to say this just because, like, even now I'm wearing a sponsored item, like this blue Madeline velvety dress is from Allegra K, who has sponsored me a couple of times already. I just feel bad because I am also someone who dislikes when YouTubers become sellouts. And in the meantime, like, I feel like I'm guilty of being one because I'm releasing so much advertising on my Instagram, and like a big amount of my YouTube videos are product reviews. Like, it just really worries me that I've become this like puppet for advertising and using my social media for not the right reasons. I want my channel to be a place where you can look into my life and you can feel maybe inspired by something, or just like get a better sense of something. Like, I really enjoyed making vlogs about Bryn Mawr College, just so that like those who don't go to Bryn Mawr or want to go to Bryn Mawr can see what it's like. And it's very cool meeting so many of my subscribers on campus. It's really heartwarming. I feel like YouTube has just always been there for me, and I really grew up in front of the camera. Doing some sponsors, it can get very fun, but also very stressful and time consuming. But I promise that I will only review products that I feel like strongly about. Trust that I do give my honest opinions on all my sponsored items, and I'm not like the YouTubers that like say good things on camera but never use them again. Like, no, like I will consistently wear the things that have been given to me by companies and use the things that I've received from sponsors. So I am doing a lot of product reviews, but I guarantee that they're all honest and not like coerced into saying good things. I am really concerned about being more and more of a sellout. Like, I want to be a very real person on camera, but I understand that you know, sometimes YouTube isn't like that, and that's just part of life. Like, for the future of this channel, my interests haven't changed that much. It's just that I don't have as much time to film videos. Like, honestly, I'm still very much interested in the things that I was interested in as a 14-year-old, you know, like getting free stuff, collecting cute things like squishies, ASMR, vlogging about like getting ready to go to college or like going to college, etc. Vlogging about like college experiences. I enjoy it a lot just because when I'm speaking to a camera, I feel like I'm speaking like to myself. Like, it comes out very naturally. Like, I've never scripted any of my videos just because I don't have to. I turn on the camera and I just talk. I'm just talking right now. I really hope that my channel will have a better sense of direction within like the next half a year or so, because I know that channels fall apart very easily when they don't, and I don't want that to happen. So I am not very popular on YouTube at all, and I don't have a lot of subscribers. There are still so many of you behind that screen. Like, I don't think I have even 1,000-something friends. I just hope I can continue to produce good content because I enjoy producing good content, and I like enjoy being a part of the YouTube community. And yeah, with that said, that was my big update about like very small news in my life. I'm a person too, and I have a lot of flaws, and I go through a lot of tough times, but I'm trying my best. And I'm really thankful that all of you are here to watch it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video, which hopefully will come sooner than it usually does. But yeah, bye everyone!